Little project I got going on today. And take this stack of firewood. I'm going to slice them all in half and run them through my county line wood splitter. And then eventually I'm going to stack it and be ready for this cold winter, because now winter is really starting to set in and it's really going to start getting cold. So we start burning through quite a bit of wood. Usually have the fire going 24/7 from this point on. Neighbor of mine, and actually I consider him a friend, cut this firewood up for me. He had 6 ash trees that had died. They've been dead for a while. He went there and he cut them all up. He calls me up and says, "Hey, you want some wood? I've got some laying down here." Oh, I'm always glad to go pick it up. He likes to cut them where it's almost like 2 sections. I'm going to go in there and cut them up into single logs, split them up, and then get them all stacked up. So hey, I'm glad you came along. If you've never seen this done before, this is how we prepare. This is how you survive in the wintertime. We burn firewood all the time, making sure that your supply that you have over here never dwindles down, especially in the beginning of wintertime. I would prefer to keep finding more wood and burning it. I like to leave all that stacked up by the Jeep and not even consider burning it until early spring. We'll see how it goes. Could be a bad winter. They say it's going to be a bad winter. Let's go. I'm going to start cutting this wood up. Today I'll be using my M170 steel. Nice little chainsaw right here. Perfect for a job like this. If you happen to be a beginner, don't try to cut wood like this. I've been cutting wood for decades and decades, but it's a little bit dangerous to put your foot up there to try to hold that log steady in order to cut these pieces in half, especially if you're not a real experienced person with a chainsaw. It'll get you hurt. Let's get the rest of this wood cut up. Like I might have hit a nail or something in one of those pieces of wood. My chainsaw went from being pretty super sharp to getting kind of dull pretty fast. So I think I'm going to take the time, going to go ahead and run the saw sharpener through it a few times and get back to it. What's important is when you're cutting wood like this, always concentrate on what you are doing. Never let your mind wander. On a trail, taking a drive, whatever, bills you got to pay, don't let your mind wander. Think about that saw cutting through that piece of wood 100% all the time. I'm going to go ahead and sharpen the chain. I thought I might as well go ahead and show you how I do it, just in case you don't know. Steel makes a real nice tool these days, and it just made sharpening your chain so much faster, quicker at home, and get right back out on the job again. It's pretty nice. So how I've got my system set up here, of course this is just a big log right here. And right here is what they call wood vise, and I've got it nailed in to the piece of wood. You want to make sure it's pretty solid. And I've got a little shim right here that I use. For this MS-170, I noticed that a little shim like this right underneath its belly helps out. You want to unplug your spark plug if you're starting to turn your chain. That's always a real good idea to do that first. A couple 16 penny nails right here, and the handle just fits in it. And the bar goes between the vise here. This is where this little piece of wood helps out. I'll put it up in there like that. Crank it down. The chain is, I'm able to rotate the chain, no problem. Now Steel came up with this chainsaw sharpener right here. Now what you got to do is you got to be sure and match up the tool to the size of chain that you have. So this one right here, and I even have mine marked small, and for my larger saw down there, I've got one that's marked large on it. I really enjoy using this tool quite a bit. But it's pretty nice. What it does is it actually sharpens the tooth, and it'll cut down the guide too, which is pretty important. So you have teeth, some are facing right and some are facing left. So what I'll do is I'll go down through here, and I'm on this side, so I'll sharpen the teeth that are facing right, and I'll go down through there all the way around till I get them all done. Then I'll switch around to the other side and face the ones that are going left. And that file right there is going to sharpen the tooth, and then the square file here is what, at the same time you're sharpening the tooth, it goes across and knocks the guide down a little bit. You don't want to just sharpen your teeth all the time and not your guide, because eventually your guide's going to get too tall. Chain is not going to be able to cut wood because all it's doing is running through there hitting the guide, and your tooth is too low. So you want to cut them down at the same time. That's the ingenious part, this steel chainsaw sharpener. It does them both at the exact same time. And I'll mark the tooth in front of the one I'm going to start. So I'm going to start on this one right here, but I mark these, and that way I know when I work all the way around, when it comes up to that blue tooth again, I'll know it's time to switch to the other side. On the smaller saw, I'll usually go ahead, my kickback lock, I'll go ahead and set it. I noticed on my larger saw, I don't need to do that, but for some reason this little saw spins a lot easier, so it just helps out to have that lock on. Here, it has little marks, and you just parallel those up, and then you run it through from there. You always want to go out. You don't want to work in toward your saw. So I don't want to cut in like this. I always want to make sure I'm cutting out away from my saw. On both sides, out away from my saw. So I'll put this on here. Sometimes after you use these for a while, obviously the file will start to wear down, so I'm going to open it up and spin it just a little bit. Okay, you can see the file comes out, so I'm just going to spin it, just a little bit. Doesn't take much. Go ahead and set it back in there. Now the square file is going to always be the same. So now I am ready to go. Yeah. See that tooth I just cut? I can feel it cutting a lot better now. So now I'll just go down through here. And I usually count how many times I'm going through. For instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go down to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now when I get to that one, I just hold my finger on it. Kick my brake off. Go all the way to the top. Kick my brake back on. Alright, so here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now that I've completed a complete cycle on this side, I'm going to come around and I'm going to do it from the opposite side, from the left side. Now what I'll do is my tool, I was running my tool with this arrow right here. I was running it this way. So when I switch over to the other side, I just basically lift it up, come down. You'll see an arrow right here, and then this is the way it needs to be ran on the opposite side. When you first get your tool, it's going to take a little while to kind of figure this out, but once you get it, it's a no-brainer, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. Okay, so here's my first tooth heading this way. Put him down on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very simple. And what's nice about it is you can take it with you. And that's what's really great, is you can actually have it out on the job. Say if you're working out in the woods, you can have it with you. It makes a big difference. Keep your chain nice and sharp. Run it to this side again. Okay. Lock it back down. There we go. As easy as that. You always want to use bar oil. Anytime you fill your chainsaw back up with gas, always check the oil. Keep your saw with bar oil in it. It'll make the chain last a lot longer. And the bar itself also. If you're running a chainsaw, you should know this. This is a kickback lock. So if for some reason my saw kicks up, it'll set it. It'll set my lock like that right there, and now my chain won't spin. In order to kick it back off, just kick it back this way. Ready to go. But you should know that if you get a chainsaw, hey, if you're brand new at this and you buy a chainsaw and you know somebody that knows how to run them, go talk to them, have them teach you a few things. Made a big difference in that saw. Just a 5-minute sharpening job like that makes all the difference in the world. Highly suggest you get you a Stihl chainsaw sharpener. Okay, almost got that all cut up. That's a pretty nice little stack of firewood that has to be split now. It's pretty dry already. It's been dead for a couple years, which is pretty good. Okay, I'm going to finish a few more pieces up. Time for lunch. Get out here, fire the old splitter up. Start splitting that firewood up. Hey, just be careful with those chainsaws. Don't really cut them the way I was cutting with my leg up there unless you are totally experienced and know what's going on. Better to get you a board to lay out on them, and that way you can slice them up and not get your foot anywhere near it. Always wear steel toe boots also. Had one of the logs roll back down, hit me right on the toe. I'd have been hurting right now, but steel toe boots saved me today. All right, got those pieces all cut up. Now it's time to split those babies up. Should go pretty good. That is ash wood. Here in the Midwest, almost all ash trees are in severe trouble. The ash borer has come in and just killed so many of them and continues to kill them. Year to year, so many ash trees are disappearing here in the Midwest. If the ash trees are going to die, like these right here, we're all dead, I might as well split them up and burn them and keep myself and Mrs. Melissa warm all winter long. Not to mention the jazz. Right, Jazz? Huh? Right? No, get out of here. Why don't you help me get some wood? Want to get some wood? Good. See that wood? Yeah, you can help. Help me split. Come on. Come on, Bubba. Come on. Good. Good. Oh, look out. Okay, well, enough playing around. I've got a lot of wood to split up here. Should be a pretty good pile when I'm done. Something did cross through my mind as I was sitting there splitting that wood, and I just happened to glance over, and I want to show you something. I've got my Jeep Liberty. It's been a nice vehicle. And then also, of course, if you watch any of my videos, you know the Montana, the 2004 Pontiac Montana, is the awesome road machine. Everywhere, we've traveled so many miles already, and we just begun. Let me show you something right over here. And this is going to be a little teaser for anybody that watches the channel. What do you think's underneath that tarp right there? That is a real treasure for you. I'm not going to reveal what it is, not just yet, but sometime within the next month or so, I'm going to pull that tarp back and I'm going to reveal what's underneath it. I think you're going to be pretty excited. I'm original owner. Sweet machine. I will give you just one little hint. Anybody know what that is? Uh-huh. Okay, that's it. To be revealed. So there you go. That was a nice little project right there. A lot of people will ask me, Mr. Lawrence, how much firewood do you think that is? How long is that going to last? Hello, Jazz. You always like to get involved, don't you? Huh? Yeah. You know, I'm thinking that right there is enough wood to probably last the month of January, maybe 3 weeks. All depends how cold it gets. Any more, I'm counting on the worst. I always like to plan for the worst and be pleasantly surprised. Sam, you want to come over here? Come here, buddy. Come here, Bob. So anyways, a lot of people will look at this and go, man, that's a mess. Look at all that stuff everywhere. You know, that's just a big old junk pile of wood. Hello, Sammy. How you doing, Bubba? How you doing? You guys be good now. You guys need to learn to stack wood. Is that what you come out here for, so you can stack some wood? You know what I see when I look at it? That's a stack of gold right there. For if something happens this winter and the grid system goes down, that is heat right there. That is survival. Food stored, some water stored, you're good to go. No matter how bad it gets, you still are going to be able to survive with more of an inconvenience than a life-threatening situation. But if you decide to get into some firewood, just be careful. Fire is one of those ancient mythic things. As long as you control it, as long as you stay on it, you're okay. But you can never, ever let it get out of control. You can never make a mistake with fire, because fire is always ready to explode. Go all different directions and eat up anything in its way. All right, guys. All right, girly. All right. About time to go camping too, isn't it? Huh? Gonna go camping? Winter camping? Heck yeah. Now that gun season's over, I'm gonna have to get the old Coleman Sun Valley back out and do a little camping in the Hoosier National Forest. I'll take you along with us. How's that sound? All right, bub. You're a pretty good dog. All right, you too, Sammy. You too. You're a pretty good dog too, Sammy. All right, I appreciate you coming to the channel. That's LAF Space Film Fest. That's capital LAF Space Film Fest. Hey, Got a dog going underneath me. Hey, if you would, hammer down that subscribe button. I appreciate it. Helps me to put out videos like this. Hey, just in case you're thinking about... just in case you're thinking about maybe getting into some firewood and doing it. You know, I may have $5, maybe $6 worth of gas today and just some labor, about 5 hours labor. And I'm ready to go. I hope wintertime goes good. I hope the grid system stays good in America and we don't have any problems. But if we do, prepare yourself now, not tomorrow, now. And you have a good day.